Okay. Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Hope you're doing well. Tonight I am hanging out with Louis Nikisa, aka Oscu, and we're going to be chatting about Splinterlands. We're going to be talking about the Soulbound reward cards, maybe do some trades. Who knows? It makes me think about old times as a kid, like when you collect cards and you get together with your buddy and you're like, which cards you got? And you got that home run superstar or that amazing pitcher or maybe from like the German, like you're probably a soccer fan or a football fan, I guess. I would assume Louis Nikisa. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not particularly a soccer fan, but we traded a lot of those European and World Championship sticker cards.
Mm,
Here in Europe, yeah, we used to collect them, still do. And yeah, this was what we were doing when we were in school, like elementary school. We used to have big bunches of stickers, which we would then in the breaks exchange just to complete our collections. But it's basically the same. I mean, now I'm grown up and I'm
that's right.
exchanging stickers again.
That's right. We're the prettiest, coolest ones you save for yourself, and the other ones that you don't want or don't believe in, you like try and give them off to your buddy.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, I just want to make sure that we're being heard and stuff. So give me a second to check in with the chat. Okay. Asmon Gold versus Artosis clip ready. Jason Jenkins, yo yo yo. Paul Taylor, howdy. Gathering, good to see you, buddy. Woody, thanks for popping by. And Paul, I'm just unbinding some cards right now. Nice, Paul. I was talking with Oscar here right before we went live about. I wonder if maybe there's an opportunity to actually. I know there's an opportunity for some people, not everyone. If 20 people did this, 100 people did this, it probably evaporates. But if you've got a few legendaries or epics it looks like you can unlock them and sell them for a little bit of profit margin. It's interesting, and I'd love to look more at that because, like I was talking about with Gathering the Magic, I want to say 2 days ago or whenever that was. Gathering and I were talking about ways to scratch and claw and grab a few bucks here or there with this, and I think there's opportunities. But before we get into any of that, Louis Nikisa, tell me what's new. I haven't talked to you in I don't know months and months. What's new? Are you just got back from a trip? But how's crypto? How's Splinterlands? Like what's new?
I mean, crypto's for me at least, it's pretty calm. Just watching like everyone else, hoping that all season comes in at some point eventually. So yeah, Splinterlands. I think the last time we spoke, I already mentioned that I'm not playing anymore. That I let the bot play. Which I don't know which video it was, but I think it was one of Aftersound's videos where he said like, look, it was all around revolving about the need to have every last meta card, and at this point, I simply didn't want to buy into Venka, which then
Mm-hmm.
turned out to be one of the meta cards
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of months,
Yep.
and not having Venka kind of was really putting you at a disadvantage. I was regularly playing between 4,200 and 4,500,
Mm-hmm.
so pretty good in Champ 1.
Mm-hmm.
But with this change, it I didn't like it. I didn't have Venka to play, and then Aftersound said something interesting. He said, I'm renting out my deck and I let the bot play because the bot doesn't need any meta cards.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, when I play and I lose, I I get disappointed.
Yeah.
If I don't have all the means to compete, then I really feel bad. And I think a game should be about having fun.
Yeah.
Like you said, you enjoy the game over kind of this 6 year period, and I simply wasn't enjoying the game.
Yeah.
So I thought of another strategy, which was renting out my key cards,
Mm.
and which resulted in much more profit for me
Cool.
than playing the game.
Cool.
And with the rest of the cards, I think I took them out of the wagons, so I got less of those airdrop points for the summoners.
Yep.
But in turn, I get around 4,500 DEC per day,
Cool. That's great.
which it just calculate this times 30 days, which you're waiting for the next summon to be released. That exactly gives me the opportunity to buy a fully maxed summoner if I wanted to, Plus, I still get 3 or 4 summoners dropped from the remaining cards that are on the wagons.
Yeah.
Plus, the bot plays, and I get, I don't know how many, probably 1,000 or 1,500 per kind of SPS per season,
Nice.
and glint, because the bot is playing around 4,200, 4,300 with the cards that I have.
Nice.
So that's it. That's a change of strategy. It's a plus plus plus, a win-win-win on all ends for me.
Yeah. I
It drives me a bit away from the game, though. That's probably the downside.
I often feel that way. Actually, like there are times where I think to myself, like I actually rent out a bit of my SPS, 50,000 SPS. I rent out for, I don't know, maybe I forget how much DEC, but it just my DEC slowly chipping in. I love it. I love seeing a little bit of DEC flowing in regularly. And I rent one of my cards. It's a Max Level Rebellion legendary. You know what? I'll pull it up faster over here. Legendary Rebellion. It's that water one that does the there it is, Dark Dead Blast. I have a max level of that, and it rents well. And so there's a couple ways that I get a little bit of DEC, and it often, that little taste of DEC sometimes makes me feel like a little bit what you described, where I could just lean into that and just let the bot do what it does, and it would do fine in wild without some of these keys. And you know, it would earn me a substantial. Well, substantial is a subjective word, but I would argue it would earn me a substantial reward, and yet I would also get the second piece of DEC extraction from maybe renting more of those cards or whatnot. But I really do. I really have been enjoying playing, especially in Modern. I almost never play in Wild anymore. I let the bot play in Wild with all of my energy every single day, but usually every day I play now, at least a little bit. And let's see. Error occurred. What the? I've never seen the screen before. An error occurred loading the Battle of History. Please refresh the page. And I wouldn't be able to bring myself to do it. I need to. I'm really enjoying it now. And today I actually, I know this is not the financial right decision, but today, out of that enjoyment, I went to the Peak Monsters and I spent, or yesterday, let's see, maybe I can show you. Go into, I think, my Explorer. I want to see the assets I recently bought. Asset history. Okay, so yesterday, no, this is your packs. Where are my cards? Purchase. That's not it either. There is a way here for me to see the cards I recently purchased, but I don't exactly know how to do that quickly. But I'll tell you, I bought I unlocked several of my soulbounds, and we can talk about that in a minute if you want. But I also came in and I bought some Rebellion commons that were getting like affordable. I think I got a pretty decent Spire Yak or Sky Spire. I got a pretty decent Blackmoor Trickster. I got a level 9 Endless Ape. And so I'm just filling out a little bit of some of these Rebellions that I think are getting into a place where I'm willing to bite. And I don't think it's a financial sort of windfall. I do believe that when these roll out of Modern, you see a decline probably. But I actually, then I could argue that it might hold because I actually think maybe there'll be an altcoin season. Regardless, it's not a financial decision. Me sinking money into these cards, at this point, I'm just enjoying it too much, and I want to have those access points. And so for the same thing, I went in and I bought for the same reason, I came into Rebellion. Is it Rebellion? Yes. And the Summoners, and I bought my Max Drath. I needed 5 copies of him. So I spent $55 yesterday on that. This price could go down. I think long term it's a strong card, but again, regardless, I'm just at a place where I'm enjoying it, and so I'm spending money. I spent $400 on some unlocks and some new cards, and yeah, that's where I'm at.
Do you like Drath?
I do. Yeah, I look at the price point on this one, and it seems as though the community doesn't agree with me. this is a small sample. When we compare it to, for instance, why does Lorcas? Oh, there's no Lorcases. There's that. I wonder if that's an error with the refresh, or if there really truly is zero Lorcases on the market. Regardless,
There could be actually.
yeah,
I was thinking about buying cryptics because I sold mine in the beginning,
yeah,
but pretty hard to buy 11.
yeah, yeah. There's only 4 on the market. Oh no, there's 17, but there's 17 because there's 13 at this price point. That's not very many, man. If you want a max cryptic, you're going to eat the entire market pretty much. And
Yep, exactly.
I wonder. I said this in a recent video. I think Drath's price, like if you just look at the page, you look at these prices, you go, well, the community agrees Drath is the worst of the ones that are available thus far, and
Mm.
I think that data is skewed because Drath was the most recently dropped and therefore has the greatest abundance, particularly abundance within the hands of people who never really wanted Drath. When we drop cards or tokens onto someone's hands or the community's hands, there's at least half of those people that don't really care if they keep it or not, and they are willing to sell it, and they're just looking for, maybe they're just looking for money, or maybe they want to sell their Drath to buy Lorcas or to buy Cryptic or to buy whatever else. I felt that Draft is quite powerful with the flight being 25%. The +1 speed is not huge, but in conjunction with the flight is nice. And then I actually really enjoy the True Strike with, I forget what this one's called, but the slowdown of your opponent. And this combo, fire earth. And so I've only really been just getting used to it, let's say. So I don't know if I have a bunch of battles that I could show you. Maybe I'll do a video in a week or two when I really get used to it. But to me, this kit seems better than Cryptic. And I do think Cryptic's good, but I actually think, to me, Drath and Tofu sound like they're, and I haven't weighed in on Max Pruitt yet, but I like Drath in this order. I like Lorcas, probably Drath, and then Tofu, and then actually I don't know where Elias fits in there, but Cryptic's not my favorite. You said you wanted to buy that one, or you were thinking about buying it. Is that high on your list? If you were to rank these, or if you were to reach out and spend some money, would Cryptic be high on that list?
Like, the problem is I'm not playing. I don't know the meta anymore.
Mm.
So what I would do before buying would be definitely to kind of to play a bit, a couple of weeks, just to see if it's really a card that I would need. Kind of that's a hole in my deck. But I'm just hearing good things about it. That's why.
I'm seeing a funny comment from William. Good to see you, William. By the way, William's been goes way back, and he says, "A live event. This feels so 2022." I'm moving
True.
around some accounts. See if the rest on rent.
But I'm definitely going to buy Tofu. I mean,
Yeah,
he's the new Milo for me. So, and I missed on Mylor, and
yeah,
I regretted it the whole time. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Thorns is a big additional upgrade to that card, and I thought the card was pretty strong with the two. I think it's 2 hit points, and the Divine Shield is an option. The Divine Shield was the option I liked better with Eternal Tofu.
Mhm.
Couple comments from the chat. Let's see here. Woody575. I'm continuously adding to my Bitcoin, Sol, and XRP. They are my main long-term holds. I am still like a long-term XRP holder. My bags are up a lot, and I keep telling myself maybe I should sell a little, but I just feel like I honestly feel like they're, and I could be way off, but you hinted at it a little at the beginning of the conversation, Luminikisa. The where do you, what sort of probability do you feel for your own, not for advice, just in your own head, in your own heart? Altcoin season right around the corner. Yes, no, 60% yes, 70% yes. Are you feeling really confident, or what do you think with that?
I don't have it on my radar right now, to be
Mm,
honest,
mm,
because I didn't see Bitcoin move,
mm,
and for me, Bitcoin needs needs to move probably 3-4 months ahead of all season.
mm.
So I don't see it anywhere near,
Okay.
which is a good thing because Splinterlands is not there to present itself to possible altcoin buyers.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you, and I know some people feel like Bitcoin needs to get into like the 100,000s for there to be really big waves.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. I just know that, is it this year? Like, if we look at 12 months, in the past 12 months, last October, Bitcoin was 26,000, and now here we are at 60,000. That's a pretty juicy buff. And if people, this feels like sideways almost, but really this is all the way up to
Yeah.
72 and down to 50 or something like that. It's pretty choppy waters, even though it's quote unquote sideways. I don't know. Historically speaking, this doesn't look like the 2016 green candle and then like fall back where we really saw altcoins happen. But at the same time, this feels like a weird moment in history with the way the global financial market just looks. Like you look at the Dow Jones has been like, what's going on with the Dow right now? This week was probably down or just floating around the same place. Let's see. Gold and silver are soaring, look, it was up like almost nothing, but it feels as though everything, gold is like 2,500. I think it's triple topped at all time highs. Silver is like pushing 30 US dollars again. It's like silver might have a breakout in the next few weeks. And that's strange in conjunction with all time high equities markets. And that's strange in the context of Bitcoin being near all time highs. And so it just feels like this really weird moment. And then we know things like inflation has gone crazy, and a lot of people complain about not being able to make ends meet. That's like a thing I see a lot of, at least in my communities. And now the Fed has said they're going to lower rates in September, probably half a percentage, 50 basis points, and all of that. It's just a strange medley of things where I don't know if we need to be looking at Bitcoin, asking for kind of that traditional, what we're used to seeing, where there was like, again, 2016 Bitcoin. Let's look at that quickly. There was this crazy candle, boom, from let's say September until March, green, like just almost straight up. And then if your altcoin didn't follow in that exact moment, it did immediately during this sort of decline here. Like XRP went from 40 cents to $4 from, let's say, I forget exactly, but it was like a 6-week period right when Bitcoin was falling. And so all that said, I'd love to give you some time to speak on that. I'm not sure what I'm looking for, but I don't give it a 0% chance that we could see crazy altcoin movements really soon. Do you think anything that I said in there, I don't know, does it push back against what you were expressing? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I'm more in the stage that you described. It's kind of a strange picture right now because there's so many things happening in the world. Kind of U.S. elections being around the corner. What's it, 2-3 months? Then we had the sell-off in Japan a couple of weeks ago. Like you said, inflation still high. I mean, the numbers look better than they looked, let's say, 6 or 9 months ago. But what you say is also very right. People don't sense it in their pockets. I mean, a lot of people are struggling. I'm regularly reading in the newspapers how people can't pay their electricity bills because they doubled or tripled. So yeah, whatever those inflation numbers that they publish suggest, I don't feel it in my pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fortunate enough that both my wife and I work with good jobs, earn good money, so actually we can manage, but others can't. And if this is an indicator for the economy in the developed countries as a whole, I'm absolutely with you. It's a very strange situation where I don't necessarily see any impulses for strong increases.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I could I
That's a
could
bit the thing.
I could articulate an argument that would put me in a place where I wish I sold at these prices on my altcoin bag. Like I'm up 4 or 5x on where my initial purchase points. But simultaneously, I don't. One of the things is I actually don't. I don't think there's a 0% chance that the U.S. Federal Reserve. I think there's a possibility, maybe even a strong possibility, that they don't just lower half a basis or half a percent in September, but actually probably October again. And if things don't happen the way that they want with respect to, for instance, like equities markets popping, um, you know, I don't put it past them to go to zero, and just and I know in your European, and I think in some parts of Europe, like they've maybe Germany, like I think the banks have tinkered with like negative interest rates, and so
In Switzerland, they did. We
yeah.
had minus, I think it was minus 0.5% or minus 0.75
Mm,
at one point. But those times are over.
yeah.
We're well over 2%. Inflation is very stable, so nothing's going to happen on this end,
Yeah. Yeah,
at least in Europe.
that's what they like that's what they're saying here too. Like you alluded to it. They're saying that the inflation is not an issue anymore in America. The last just a couple of days ago, the recent, maybe we'll pull away from this cuz not maybe everybody's going to be into this stuff. I love I think this stuff deeply matters for the broader crypto market, and I'm super into it. But maybe let's pull into some Splinterlands chat. I just want to maybe
Sure.
leave that by saying all these questions, all this topic drives big questions in my mind, and I don't know what's going to happen next. I could see quantitative easing. I could see 0% interest. I could see, helicopter dropping airplane or dropping cash like on people. We saw in you know what? I'll leave it there. Those are some thoughts I have around it, and I don't know. I'm not predicting those things. I'm just saying it feels very unusual with gold and what's going on, gold and silver pumping at the same time. That's strange, man. It's like certain investors recognize something maybe. Anyways, Ank, thanks for that, buddy. Smash the like, and that's the one. Gathering, Bitcoin can hit 1 million, no doubt in my mind about that. But when is the question? Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm long term. Like Bitcoin and Ethereum to me. I think if you understand what crypto is, like having a slice of that pie makes perfect sense. We wanted to talk about a couple things before we got started here, and I'd like to get into some of them. We've already been chatting for 30 minutes here. First of all,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
I was just thinking about you were speaking about maybe you would like to have some, what was it, gold foil epics?
That's right.
And I could have a look at my deck if I had them.
Yeah, let's see. So I'm going to pull up mine. We might do some good
Were
old fashioned
you,
card trading.
yeah,
So the ones I'm missing, I finished out my legendaries yesterday. I think I have all my commons and rares. Not necessarily all gold foil, but that's okay. 10. I'm just quickly checking. I think there's only 2 cards I'm missing.
is it gold foil or regular foil?
Gold. And gold, actually, 3 car. No, I unlocked those. Okay. Gold foil epics are the only ones that I am missing of all the cards. And that is, let's pull it up. Epic. Boom, boom.
I can tell you what I would have, what I could give you. I mean, basically everything but Evelyn and Noah. I could give you single copies of gold foil epics. But they're
Nice.
quite expensive to unlock, huh?
That's right. Yeah, 25,000, aren't
I
they?
mean, it's 25,000, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Thane New Song is one of the epics that I need in the gold foil version. And
Okay. I I
and
had
Noah
one
Noah is
spare.
the other one that I'm looking for. I need one more Noah of a gold foil. What happens at Noah's grades at level 6? He gets he gets martyr. Are you joking? I didn't know that.
I know. Yeah, he's great. I maxed him in regular fall. This was one of the cards I wanted to max. Unfortunately, I just have a Noah with how many copies? 8 BCX.
Hmm. I must have had. I don't think This was one of the cards that I just kind of didn't get. Like Noah, look at this. I got level 5 Noah the Just gold foil, level 2 on the reg foil, and I may have sold some of them at some point. Like maybe I had a higher level reg because I did that when if I had a gold foil that was equal or better, I just sold my regular back when it was paying. I think DEC or Glint. I don't know what I got, but I got some sort of
Yeah, you
compensation.
you burned them for Glint. I remember the video you did.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad I did. I've still got 1.4 million glint, and yesterday I unlocked, or this week I unlocked like a crazy number of chests. I spent a million glint. That video's out tomorrow or tonight or something. Um,
Nice.
um, so yeah, I'd be
Oh,
definitely, I'd
you
be into
you
like
have you have
talking.
Gathering the Magic in the chat. Maybe I can just have a little shout out to him. He was doing an analysis on which chests and which draws to buy
Yeah,
in order to kind of to max a deck. I remember this. This was probably a year ago.
yeah.
Gathering, if you can hear me and do another video on kind of your updated strategy and what would be kind of the strategy investing the least amount of glint over how many seasons, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. He came and chatted with us, um, with me. I want to say it might have been yesterday. I told it was yesterday. He came and chatted with me for my members only, and we had a nice hour and a half or so conversation. And he did mention that he was planning to do a video on like how to best sort of play these different rewards and whatnot. And he gave him some sort of notes on that. I was really intrigued, and there's a video that's going to go public tonight on this one on my channel with our conversation. And I talked about how I spent a million glint and I bought so many draws of this kind and that kind and so many chests. And he had some really like a totally different perspective on how to and why not and how maybe better to allocate that and so I think that video will be interesting to watch from every perspective. Somebody who's got like a ton of glint and who's a bit more of like sort of a heavy investor, and then also that perspective of like somebody who doesn't have the dollars behind, let's say, and because he has a $10 account, which is so cool to be able to track and see what he's been able to do with no investment. Because people say you can't get anything. There's nothing worth you don't. But he's just quietly. Actually, I'm gonna pull it up quickly. Geffer, I think it is. Gedfer. I love his channel. Um, I want to look at all of it. Is it 40,000? Yeah. Okay. So 40,000 power, small number, but man, all acquired through play, all of it, and just enjoying the game and playing. And actually, for like the last 2-3 months, he said he hasn't been playing it because they were only giving like 15 glint per win, and that didn't make any sense from a time and attention. But now the changes are that you're getting closer to 100 glint per win at lower levels, and so people are going to be able to get 4, 5, 6 cards a day now at the lowest level of this game again, which kind of brings us back. Oskio brings us back a little bit. Remember when we used to get the daily chests and you'd get your daily quest and you'd go and beat it? And how many did you get? 5? Or how did it work again? You get 5 cards every time, didn't you?
I think so, yeah.
Remember you'd get
I mean,
5.
I miss those times too,
Yeah,
to be honest.
yeah. Win 5 battles with like the water splinter, and then you'd unlock. I want to say it depended on what league you're in. That's what it was. If you were in bronze, it was like 1 chest. And if you were, I think, no, it was more than that. It was, but you daily you'd get several cards, which was awesome.
No, no, absolutely. So do you want me, what was it that you needed? The Thane?
The 1 card is Thane, yeah.
I mean, I could unlock and send it to you if you want to.
Yeah, I've got um well, I happen to have 26,000 DEC right now. Actually, something must have just sold this second. So I could pay your fee, or like what do you think? What should we do?
You can pay the fee and that's fine.
Yeah, and then okay, so I'll just send you 25 in-game player, and it's Louis Nikisa or is it Oscar? I forget.
No, it's Louis Nikisa.
Louis Nikisa. I think I'm spelling that right. LUINICISA. Right?
I don't see it on screen yet because it's delayed.
Oh, you know what? I should screen share with you on Discord, but give me a second. LUINICISA.
Yeah, Louis Nikisa. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I'm gonna send it. In-game 2-player, 25,000. It's 25,000 DEC, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So, and it was They New Song, right?
Yeah. Let me just triple check. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but the one that's like a green non-attacking unit and gold foil.
Yeah.
Are you holding a bunch of DEC right now, or what?
Yeah, I got your DC.
But I mean, are you holding are you collecting DEC? Like, what are you doing financially? You're not playing, but are you acquiring DEC, acquiring vouchers, buying SPS? Are you doing any of that?
What I used to do was, okay, let me quickly do the Thane thing and I send it to you. Okay. Is it Infidel 1208? What was it?
Infidel 1258.
58.
Actually, you know what? Is that right? This is so funny. Yeah, Infidel 1258. That's right. 1258.
Okay. Infidel. Okay.
It's so funny. Like you were saying, when I was asking you the spelling on yours, it's like you don't think about it every day, do you?
Yeah, the thing is, we know each other for so many times.
That's right.
Kind of for so many years. But still.
That's right. Nice.
Okay. It left the account. Should be with you in a
Yeah,
second.
it's with me now. Dude, this is awesome.
No, it is awesome to complete this stuff. I'm a bit salty, and I wrote this in your comments a lot of times. I mean, those are reward cards that we earned with our investment and time, and we still have to pay money. I mean, this is something that really rubs me the wrong way. But yeah, let's let's not get into this.
Yeah.
We have different opinions on this, and this is just one thing that I'm really upset about, to be honest, in the design of the ecosystem. But it is what it is. There was one other thing that you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Was it?
There's two other things. The first that I had thought through was talking a bit more in detail about the marketplace, because the soulbound unlocks, you know, as people like yourself are frustrated, but there's profitability. Like if you spent 25,000, so let's just look at Thane New Song. You just unlocked one. Thane New Song. You spent 25,000 DEC on that card. I gave it to you, but still, if you 25,000 DEC at current price point is $16.25. And then if you go to Peak Monsters and you look up I love that they added this feature, by the way, with reward soulbound. And if you come in and you look at Epic Monsters Thane New Song, now I guess you could argue it's maybe not gonna sell, but look, we've got one here for $18.05. And you know, that person theoretically stands to gain $1.50. Like right now, if somebody buys that, and I bet that one sells because it's, you know, $2 cheaper than every other one. And those little margins seem trivial to me, actually. Like, I don't know that I would buy, if I had an extra Thane New Song gold foil, I don't think I would spend $16.50 to try and sell it at 18. You've also got the market fee too, which I'm not thinking through properly, to be honest. But my point is, if there is margin, and some of them there are, Look at Noah the Just selling for 20. Idris selling for 1982. It was only that one thing that was 1805. And then on the legendaries, on the reg foil, there's some profitability or some space. The Musa Saline, as well as Usut and Duskblight and Iziar and Sturgis are all selling for over $4. And the 5,000 DC that you would need to spend to unlock it would be a $3.25 price point today. And so if you sold it for closer to $5, you're covering your margin and making a little profit. And I know you're taking some risk to do that, but I'm just saying, and I'm not sure everybody knows this, this is another way that there are opportunities in front of us to scratch and claw and get 50 cents here or $1 there. And maybe that starts adding up because maybe you have these cards anyways and you don't like them. You got extra copies of them or whatever the case may be. This particularly was available yesterday. Like a lot of these were selling for $6 on the legendaries. So the margins start to shrink as more supply comes to the market. But that was the first thing I wanted to kick around and just see if the people in the chat had thought about this or had been playing that angle. And also to see what you thought.
I mean, it seems as if the chat believes that down the road those prices are going to increase. At the moment, like you said, it's probably just the unlock fee plus a little margin. The chat just says 5 to 10% probably average margin on those.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, I don't think that the margin is worth the risk because the risk of not selling them is quite high. Because the people that need them right now, they probably have a couple. But what happens if those already had their fill and just don't buy? That means that somebody from the outside would need to come in. But this person would need to buy, for the epics, for example, he would need to buy 46. And I don't know if we have the liquidity for 46 then.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking the risk, to be honest. I'm probably going to burn my gold foils if there's a good strategy to obtain the new soul bond cards. But I'm not going to play the kind of the game for a 5 to 10% profit.
Yeah, I hear you, and that's a good sort of it's like the other side of the coin, and it's super important to look at. Because I used to say when I was regularly flipping cards, I found it was really important to understand that the best sort of card to flip, because I consider what I'm describing card flipping. You would unlock it for 25,000 and hopefully you'd sell it for 28,000 DEC, something like that. And you're trying to scratch and claw and get a little profitability. The question is, one, can you sell it quickly and easily? There are some cards that are quicker and easier to sell. And gold foil epics or legendaries are probably not going to be in that realm of quick and easy to sell because they're a bit more expensive for one thing, and they're also not going to appeal to every audience member. Whereas probably these sell quickly. At least all the cards, mostly I sold several Ava Sturgises yesterday for about $5, maybe 3 or 4 of them. I sold 1 or 2 Musa Salines. I sold a couple Duskblights and a couple Iziars. Or no, I bought Iziars. Regardless, like movement on these cards there's greater volume. And so you want to understand how quickly the card will move. And then you also want to understand the profit, the possible profit based on not just the purchase price, but the presumed sale price after you buy and sell it. And you can predict those things, but you can't ever guess. You can't ever know for sure. And then one other piece that I just want to finish that thought around is if you can say to yourself, I would like this card, even if I don't get to resell it. That's the best kind of flip, because there's sometimes you're going to want, you might say, well, I need more Iziars. I need 1 or 2 or 3 to get to that next level that I want. And so I'm happy to buy them. And then you might see a flip opportunity and say, I could buy them for, let's say, 3 and try and flip them for 5 And if that happens, I'll be happy. And if they don't sell, I'll also be happy because I'll then I'll merge them with my other BCX and make myself a max copy. Those are the best kinds of flips because then you're not screwed if you don't get the margin you were hoping for.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the strategy I would go for because I mean you and I we like to play on the highest level, and I could just let them sit in my deck waiting to be sold, with the prospect of combining them if I don't sell them. So
Yeah.
there would be a strange concept for me if I have, let's say I have 6 a level 3
Yeah.
and I have 5 spare. It would be too tempting for me to just combine them and use them on the highest level
Yeah.
than to wait. But I see where you're getting.
Yeah.
Gathering the magic says something interesting in chat. He says like, well, buy now when the prices are cheap and just wait 5 months when the unlock fee is going to be higher.
Mm-hmm.
Because this could be a game for meta cards. Let's say EZR, Hulu. Who else do we have? Noah probably.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are a couple of those cards. I'm pretty sure they're a pretty safe bet.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you need to put down the money now.
Yep.
And wait.
Yep.
And hope.
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree.
Good work. Another angle which I was thinking about, and I think this could be also. I think Aftersun touched the topic slightly, and I was thinking about it, and could be also an opportunity if you're bullish on DEC. Then you could use credits, outside money, to buy DEC at 65 right now. So to peg, that would mean 35% less. You buy those cards and you double dip, meaning on the price appreciation of the card and price appreciation on the DEC.
Yeah.
And this could totally outweigh the costs of bringing the money in, meaning paying the PayPal fees or whatever for fresh cash.
Yeah.
Just another way to play it. I think this could be way more interesting than to flip for 5 to 10% right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're different games. Like I think, like I said, I had a nice conversation with Gathering, and he was explaining how he would buy a pack for 30 cents and sell it for 50 cents or something. And those are chaos packs. And he was arbitraging between Hive Engine and the marketplace, the Splinterlands marketplace. And so I think there's some gamers who they are looking for like just, a buck here or there would be awesome. And then there are others who have a bit of maybe extra discretionary spending, and they can think 5 months down the road and position themselves in a totally different way. And I absolutely do agree with the idea that the chat is saying around buy now, be patient, sell in 5 months. And others were saying that floor is going to increase. And I think if you look at, I talked about this earlier with respect to the legendary summoners from the Rebellion set. And I said, I think Drath is not getting the respect he deserves because he's the more recently printed one, and therefore there's 42 copies of him not because he's a crappy card, because he is the most recently airdropped one, and therefore the supply of him is higher than any other. And so there's a tighter market on these other ones, and therefore the prices are higher. That's just how it goes. But you can imagine that if there's 100 copies of Drath in the world that are held by people who don't really care about Drath, they got extra copies beyond what they needed, they're willing to sell them, they're eventually going to disperse those. And there's still only 4,100 copies of this card, there's only 1,400 cards actually to be when you look at the data. And so that to me, with respect to Drath, tells me that across time, I believe you start to see a price appreciation on a card like that, all things equal. Now, you have to get into with Rebellion cards. There's the whole it's going to no longer be preparing battle or mage wagons, and you're not going to be able to get airdrops. So maybe that's a utility. Regardless, I'm just saying supply shrinks across time, price should appreciate. Then we go back to the conversation on the soulbounds again. Which cards are being sold right now? Is the marketplace being saturated with people with copies of cards from players who are desperate to sell cards they love? No. These are cards that are being sold by people who just got them and saw a financial opportunity, $1, $2, 50 cents, and maybe who had their DEC since cheaper, or who have earned their DEC for free across time and are like, you know what, I'm just going to unlock some of these and see what I can do with the marketplace. Who knows the story, but whatever the justifications that brought these different copies to the market, fewer and fewer and fewer copies will be brought to market tomorrow and the next day and the next day, not just because fees go up, that's part of it, but also because the people who have them are no longer wanting to get rid of them. Like I had 3 extra Ava Sturgises, I got rid of them, and others are doing the same. And so at some point that liquidity dries up, and then you start to see the price spike, I think. Plus the fees going up means that the floor goes up. And so I think ultimately, yeah, it probably makes sense to do something like that. But it's 2 people. It's 2 different people. There's one person with a few $100, buy a few of these and just sit and wait. Or buy the DEC, like you said, with fresh money, and then you get the discount on the DEC, and then you apply it to the cards, and then you double dip essentially on the profit. But that's a bit of a richer man's version of the flip, which somebody might do by burning a Musa and sell it for $4.75.
Absolutely. There was another conversation, which I found very interesting, was to unbind some of the cards, kind of the meta cards that you have in your deck, like a max version.
Yep.
With the intention to be able to put them in the rental market in the future.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Just imagine an ECR that you don't need for whatever reason. You put it on the market, and it gives you 200-300 DC per day.
Yeah, exactly. I was looking at that because I have a few of the summoners that are max level, and I have the gold foil and the regular foil, and so I don't need both. I could unlock one and just be ready to rent it out in the future. I would imagine there won't be a huge abundance of supply for those max level summoners. And same with Iziar, or same with, Ava Sturgis or Kulu or whatever. Yeah. Quick little side comment. I see Woody dropped a question. Woody575, Dwayne, do you only need 2 gold foil epics for a maxed gold foil reward set? Yes and no. Not a max gold foil set. I am one card away from having a full Chaos Legion reward set. They are not all gold foil. Some of the cards I got lucky and they were max gold foils, and so if I had both gold foil and regular foil, I deleted the regulars because I would rather have the gold foil. But I am one BCX away from a full complete Chaos Legion reward set. And Ame, good to see you, buddy. What up, 12? Good to catch you. Hope you've been well. I have been extremely well. For those who haven't heard me talk about it, we have adopted a little 4-year-old boy, and he's amazing. He's sleeping now, and it's been challenging, but it's been wonderful. And also my 2 daughters are doing great, and my wife and I are doing great. So yeah, life's good. Summer's been fun. I'm taking 6 months off my real life work, let's call it, to enjoy my family and give my son that extra time. So things are good. And Fat Jimmy, how do you guys turn credits to DEC? I never have before, but need to. I buy credits to buy via Venmo or PayPal. I do not see those options for buying DEC. You're right. You can't turn credits to DEC unless you take your credits and buy a card and then sell that same card. And then you're incurring fees, and you can actually I think you can get in trouble with that. Somebody was doing that. I heard somebody was doing that a while back with their own account, like buying their own cards in order to put DEC in their pocket or something like that. If you get found out with stuff like that, you might it's not legit and it's not okay. What we were referring to is taking fresh money. I think this is what you were referring to, Louis Nikisa. Were you saying take fresh money and buy crypto and then get into DEC that way, and then you're buying DEC at 00065 instead of like in the future, perhaps peg. Is that what I think you made that point earlier, didn't you?
No, yeah, it was the other way around, what you described earlier, that you buy the card and then sell the card on the market. I mean, this way you can turn your real money, your fiat, into DEC relatively easy without a lot of losses on the way. And if you are patient and buy those meta reward cards, I would guess it's not a sure thing, but I would guess that in the future you can probably sell them for more, meaning that you can offset the cost that you had with Venmo or PayPal plus the sale fee on the market. I'm pretty sure you could do this, but it's more of a longer view game. It's not something that you do in order to generate DC out of fiat right away. Like you could do this, but then you probably have the 5% from PayPal and the 5% on the market fee. So basically, you lose 10% of the money on the way in. But yeah, that's probably it. And if you do it like this and you sell the card, then you still have the probability of price appreciation on DEC when it goes back to pack. Kind of those are the two ways how you get fiat to DEC.
If like yesterday, what I did was like I use Coinbase, and I deposited e-transfer value into my Coinbase account, $400, and then I buy Litecoin, and then I go to Hive Engine and I use that Litecoin, and you can use with Hive Engine you can do swap, and you just swap LTC for DEC, and so now I've put fresh Canadian currency into DEC with like in a half an hour, and that's what I do. And then this way, I like to do that because when I take fresh fiat currency and I do that, I am buying discounted DEC. And then what I'll do is I'd rather sit on it. I don't actually want to buy cards with it yet, because if you buy cards with your DEC today, what you're buying is you're spending DEC at 0.00065 Splintoshis. And then when DEC appreciates and you theoretically sell that asset, you had to spend more of your DEC units to get that asset than you will receive in return when you sell that asset. Now, the one caveat is that maybe the price of the card has gone up in the intervening months or weeks while DEC was also going up. And so maybe that makes it a wash. But at DEC being this low, I would rather not spend my DEC unless it's to unlock and sit and wait on it, because the DC unlock fees are going to go up, point one, and point two. There is some. I guess that's the main one. Actually, that's the main consideration. If I was going to do something like this, that would be what I would want to do. Fresh money into DC, unlock some cards, and that's what I did, and then just sit and see. And I put a few on the marketplace, and some of them sold, and others haven't. And I'm okay with holding them. If they don't sell now, I bet one day in the future they'll sell for more. Or like you alluded to earlier, rent. I think I want to bite the bullet and unlock some of my big ones for rent. But, that's probably going to be a $200. Like, look at this. Rewards. Let's see. So I've got the... Ooh, I shouldn't. These gold foil summoners, I wonder what they're going for. The regulars are going for $4 per unit. I have 6 extra Pembroke Nymphs. I have 7 extra Franz Roof Mains. But then their unlock fee is 5,000 DC. I think these might be $4 by themselves. It's all interesting. I don't know what's best to do. I would like to have some long-term access to these that I could maybe rent, because I do think, look at that, Franz Roof Main. These gold foil, these gladiator ones. This is an aftersound point, so credit to him. I think he's right. I don't know that we're going to see this conscript summoner ability again. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't ever see it again, or if we do see it again, it'd be a long time. I think we never see it again. And the reason would be, if you understand, if you just think about how like the power of that card is amplified magnified in a significant way because of all the gladiators that you accrue. And gladiators are this thing, unless the gladiators we're experiencing now are going to be cycled out and put into wild, the conscript ability is huge. And because you would imagine that new gladiators at some point will come, and if the old ones aren't cycled into wild, which I haven't heard them say they're going to do, that makes this conscript ability really, really powerful, because it just keeps getting better and better and better, because the database of bloodlusting glads might keep growing and growing and growing. And in Modern League, the pool of cards is quite a bit smaller than Wild, and at Gladiators is almost this back door to like a really overpowered play. And so, what do you think about that, Luinikis, about Gladiator summoners, about conscript ability? Do you think that they will cycle out the old ones? Will they, when they introduce new ones? I haven't heard anything about that.
I mean, you're probably right when you say they're probably not going to do this again. Pretty confident they won't. And the one that I'm looking at is Rob Lowland. Just being able to use Quora and the what's the sneak guy double strike called? I mean, he will be very sought after also in the future.
Yeah,
exactly. Those will be really good. I think the others, I would say, well, maybe the dragon one, because kind of versatile.
Yeah.
But the others I wouldn't see, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wanted to come back to something that Jamie said, which is also very important to take into consideration. I mean, those soulbound reward cards are going to rotate out of Modern in 6 months, more or less, which will also have an impact on the utility and then on the price point, which I would expect to see 6 months and going forward, because they're probably not as valuable if you can just play them in Wild, play and rent them in Wild.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very, I don't know where I land on that conversation. It's a very interesting conversation, and I've thought it through a lot of different angles, not just from these reward cards, but also from Rebellion. Because the same topic comes up. I go, Rebellion cards have held their value. Should I buy more of them? Well, they probably only held their value because airdrop points. Once the airdrops end, the cards lose a certain utility. When they lose that utility, the prices should decline. But counterpoint, when they lose that utility, when the conflicts end, that means that the airdrops are over. That means the pack sale is over. So conceivably or arguably at that moment, there should be no new influx of cards. And that should indicate like an extra or a reason to have greater confidence in the future price, not a worse confidence. And so I feel like those are two competing factors that you could hold against Rebellion and try and say, well, I think Rebellion prices are going to go down, or I think Rebellion prices are going to go up. And so I don't know where I land. And I feel the same is true about, is the same true about the Soulbound rewards? It is and it isn't. It's a different story, but it's kind of the same story in the way that when they cycle out of Modern, they lose a utility and arguably maybe value. But at the same time, when they are no longer unlockable is, I think, that same window pretty much. And when we start to understand how limited, finite the supply is, I think we can have an interesting conversation about maybe their scarcity and pointing to higher future prices. Because I think, unlike Chaos Legion, and even one day, God willing, we're going to see 100,000 people come in here, and we'll see even Chaos Legion be scarce. But with respect to Rebellion, with respect to Rift Watchers, with respect to even these new Soulbounds and the Chaos Soulbounds, I think the scarcity is going to be there. They're going to be really scarce. Even the Chaos Legion Summoner Soulbounds. Why? Because most of them will never get unlocked. Tons of them are going to be locked forever on accounts that never moved. Tons of them are locked on bots. Tons of them are locked on people who left the game. Tons of them are locked on people's accounts who they forgot their keys probably. And so, and then tons are locked on accounts like yours who, you've said like, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to pay to get my cards. Like, so I think we end up finding that most of the new cards end up being really scarce. And so even when they cycle out of modern, I don't know if we can say with certainty that the prices will decline. What do you think of that?
I want to believe what you're saying, but the past 3 years have shown that
I
the
know.
prices just decline.
Yeah.
So, I don't think yeah, it, I mean, it really shocked me. I've got a couple of untamed meta cards that I bought back in the day because
Yeah.
I thought it would be absolutely necessary to have them.
Yeah.
And the prices just imploded. They're probably 10% worth the price that I paid initially. And I'm
Which,
expecting this to happen to all of the sets, to be honest. If you don't put a certain monetary utility to them,
yeah.
then this is probably what's going to happen to all
Yeah.
of them.
Until we see a bull market. Because in a bull market,
Yeah.
there'll be, I think, and again, it's hard to compare old bull markets to new ones, but I think in the last bull market, we saw an attraction to the old cards that people didn't even necessarily need. Some of the alphas or betas, some of the promos, some of the old promos. And I feel that will happen again. I do think there's a collectible element, and I do think so. We'll see though. Time will tell if we see a bull market, but I think we will. And if when SPS pumps, and there can be two paths to this. One, the game actually gets its marketing in order, and people come and they stay and they enjoy. That grows the player base. And just the other day, Gathering was saying if we had 20, we don't need thousands of new players that are really serious. If we had 20, 25 new players that were like serious, they would eat the supply of cards on the marketplace. Like we just looked at those Rebellion Summoners. There's 11 copies, 0 copies of Vuk. I forget the names of them now, but 0 copies, 11 copies, 17 copies, 40 copies. That's nothing. And so that's Rebellion. But I think Rebellion and the Chaos Legion reward cards and Rift Watchers are in that same scarcity realm. One side note quickly though, before I forget to answer, I saw a comment from Paul was asking which one am I missing on the Soulbound Summoner or Soulbound cards. The one card I'm missing is Noah the Just, 1 gold foil. I'm 1 gold foil Noah the Just away from a max level Noah the Just, and otherwise I have every single card. Not all of them gold foil, but. Did you have any follow-up thoughts there, Oscu, on what I was just saying, or?
When I see Jimmy appearing in the chat, I'm always thinking about one thing that is currently standing between mass adoption and success of the game, which I don't think that Matt is taken into account. Is the game needs to be affordable for people to get in. I mean, just look at my journey. I mean, if you remember, was it 3 years ago, December, I joined TNA and I thought I could beat you with a silver deck in one of those tournaments that we did back in the day to see if the new people joining are worth joining the guild.
Mm-hmm.
And I did pretty well with I would say a bronze deck. I was really, I don't know where I ended up, probably 3rd place in the tournament that we had, kind of the guild internal tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But that was fun, and it was fun with little investment.
Mm-hmm.
It got me hooked. Then I bought a silver level. Then I played in silver. You remember the times when I played leaderboard silver for, I don't know, 9 months, 12 months, then I decided to move up. I mean, you don't have this right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's all or nothing. And for the game to be successful, I think we need this progression that also with small investments you can have fun and don't get crushed in silver 2 by champion decks.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that needs to change. The game needs to be affordable, at least at the entry stages.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that that also rubs me the wrong way in terms of the unlock fees for the soulbound cards.
Yeah.
Just imagine someone coming into the game new. He wants to build up, let's say, a bronze or a silver deck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you did the comparison of the prices versus the Chaos Legion prices,
Yep.
or even the Rebellion prices right now. I mean, the soulbounds are way more expensive than those other cards.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the only thing which, for me, stands in kind of the success of the whole efforts that they're putting forward, be it new player experience, one-set rentals, everything. Because the basis of the game, it not that it is fun, it needs to make financial sense in some way.
Mm-hmm.
If it makes no sense, I was looking Sai's video the other day. He said like, I can't invest $8,000 a year as a father of how many kids does he have? 3,
Yeah.
5? I don't know.
Yeah.
Impossible. And make it affordable so people can chip in or kind of can invest steadily and build up their decks. This would be, if I had something that I could wish for, this would be it.
Yeah, I hear you. I am seeing a lot of small changes that are adding toward improvement toward that. Like even just the glint payouts tweaking, and people like Gathering saying he can now claim 5 or 6 free cards a day. Now those are soulbound cards, and you might argue, and you kind of did argue, that's not meaningful. But you know, some are going to think it is, and I think we often ignore the financial return or impact for a non-financial asset, such as a soulbound card. A soulbound card is a card that you cannot sell or trade or rent, but it is a card you can play with, and if it unlocks new victory for you, it unlocks cryptocurrency for you. And so for that reason, there's a financial aspect to a non-transferable financial asset, and which is I don't hear anybody but me talking about. Like when people say things like that around the soulbounds, I do think you're kind of overlooking that some of those soulbound reward cards unlock victory. Because, for instance, we talked about the conscript ability and how impactful that is. Then if you want to go another leg further, talk about the gladiators. You were mentioning Katrelba. That's not a soulbound reward card, but it's a soulbound card. And those are assets that are generating revenue for the person who has earned them, because they allow you to win. Actually, I want to quickly look up my my chaos. Is this my reward? Yeah, it is. Okay, let's see what because I just not chaos. I didn't want to say. Hey, what the 76% of my epics? Oh yeah, because anyways, that's not what I want to look at. I want to see my rebellion rewards, because I just spent 1 million in glint, and on the screen I have a comment from Woody7575. I spent 1 million glint yesterday, and I have 11% completion on my rebellion reward set. So with these numbers, it should take 10 million glint to get near maxed out set, pending RNG. And let's on my set, I'm doing a little better, I think. I spent 1 million glint yesterday too, Woody. Give or take. Might have been 900,000, might have been 1.1. I can't remember exactly. But as you can see, I got 21% of my commons. I got 13% on my rares. I also got a good amount of gold foils on the commons too, but 11% on the epics and 8% on the legendaries. But then I got 2 gold foil legendaries, which was ridiculous and super broken in my RNG, which was fun. Fat Jimmy, if we got a wave of new players in the next 6 months or so, while they are still in modern, these soulbound reward cards will be very scarce and in high demand. Time will be everything regarding the modern wild. Yep. that would be ideal. But I do think that you can formulate, I don't want to rehash it. I just want to wait and see in 6 months, in 6 weeks, between now and 6 months from now, either there's going to be crypto altcoin season or there isn't. And if there is, I think that changes a lot of these conversations, because if SPS leaves, for half a penny to 5 cents or something like that, the reward extraction becomes way more appetizing and desirable. I'm now getting 12 SPS in like gold 1, diamond 3. That's where I play in modern. 12 SPS, 15 SPS. If that's half a penny, it's 6 cents. If it's 5 cents per SPS, that's 60 cents. 60 cents per win. I get 10 of those a day. $6 a day matters. And so I don't know that's going to happen, but if that happens, I think all this conversation around, well, there's too many cards, or the cost to unlock, or the new player experiences, like just a lot of it is going to be fall to the wayside if the token prices go into some fun place. Stop me anytime you see something, Oscar, but I just want to keep reading a couple comments. Gathering, if we get 50 new players who spend just 100 or 200 buying cards on the market, they will wipe out the market will get wiped out on modern cards. And then he says, save the gold foil summoners for gold foil brawls. Yeah, I would prefer to save those. And then Jimmy says, since you mentioned renting, would you support a different lower unlock cost that keeps the soul bounds but allows rental or delegation? That's interesting. It would be, I guess he's proposing like essentially you would spend something on unlocking them and they would kind of be partially unlocked. I might support that. I kind of think something like that makes sense from like leaning on what Oski was alluding to, just lowering some of the costs for people to enjoy the game and the fullness of it. But I feel pretty confident Matt would not approve of that. Somebody said a comment in the last town hall around, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something about this, like unlocking them in partial ways. It wasn't about renting, I don't think. But the answer sounded pretty like definitively, I don't want to do that. So, I think Matt, if we felt strongly, the community, he would probably, but I don't really think there's appetite for that. I just want to say thanks to all the comments, guys. You guys are great. Ame, good to see you again. Afraid about renting. Maybe I can rent 2 legendaries and have a 0 B6 of. And what about the people that already have unlocked them? Yeah, Paul. Paul says back to Fat Jimmy. What about the people who have already unlocked them to rent them? Yeah, it always sucks when there's a change made after some people have started acting on the plan. The plan is A. They start to act based on assumptions that A is going to stay the plan, and then B happens, and that can be very frustrating. Gathering said, with respect to conscript, I don't see conscript ever again on a summoner. I think the team realizes it was a mistake. I love that mistake, and I will enjoy those cards for a long time to come. Yeah, probably very few weapons training too. I think that is a bit of a niche moment. Like, I think weapons training has blown up. Like, it's like a big impact. I think it's quite meta how you use it currently. And I do think they would reel that in if they could do it again. And they can do it again in the coming cycles. Aaron B, I just bought all my missing BCX for the reward summoners except for the life and water. Life, I really like the life one because life is where you get Captain Katie. And so I use, you're talking about the all my BCX for the rewards. So yeah, that's where I get Captain Katie from. Gathering, a year from now, there won't be just modern or wild. They will add 1 or 2 more ranked battle options. I bet he's right, but that's going to depend on the broadening of the player base. Kitty under Gathering, just noting Kitty under 50, Kron under 10. I think you're talking about Is that the price points now? I've been shopping, Kitty. I've been looking. I've been keeping my eyes peeled. I almost sold $1,000 with my other crypto, just because I was like some of these untamed prices, and again, going full circle. The Minikisa we were talking about, you know, the price of these cards could go way lower, and yet I see myself like I sold my Kitty for $3,000 before Splinterfest, and now here's one at 3,800 or $389. That's pretty tempting, man. It's a fun card. I play it a lot. I like to play Brawl 15 for the team. Are you still brawling, Luinikisa, or are you not brawling anymore either?
No, I'm brawling, but handicapped as I don't have the key cards anymore. But still, I'm having a between 80 and 100% win rate.
Yeah, I've been winning more in the brawls lately. Is it because our
That's still
competition
good.
is our competition slipping? Oh, got a gift from Woody.
No. I would say the good guilds already moved to 5. That's why.
Woody sent me a gift. He's just hooking me up with the Know the Just. Thank you, brother. Thank you sincerely. That's amazing. That one gives the martyr, dude. That's such a crazy upgrade. That's such a crazy upgrade because that card is awesome as it is. Like just by itself. Look at this card. Know the Just. Level 5. Rust, which is super helpful nowadays with all the different armored strikes or even just the protects that are available out there. Void armor. So you bring in a Rust and you kind of nerf some of your opponents in so many different ways. Dodge in conjunction with 6 speed. This is a very evasive card. And then throw on the backfire. Now, this is funny because a lot of the Rebellion cards had a really high speed, 6, 7, 8 with the backfire and the even phase. But this card is very, very evasive, very strong for 5, and it has no attack. So it leans into that no attack weapon strain meta. But now, going one level higher, this thing is bananas. That's the exact card I needed, and I get that Martyr because this feels like slip it into the first spot, put your Opportunity Kulu Mastermind in the second spot. Your Kulu's gonna weapon train Noah, and when he dies, he's gonna martyr and buff up Kulu if he dies. Frankly, I like that card a lot. Thank you very much, Woody. That's huge. Appreciate you, brother. Sincerely. There's too many things in the chat to get through. You guys are awesome. There was another topic that we wanted to. Oh, you know what? Let's look at a few leaderboard battles if we can, because I was saying to Luinikisa before we got live here, you know, we've got these new Soulbound cards that are now. Two things have happened. We have the new Soulbound cards that people are starting to accrue. Myself, I have like a silver level deck. Woody was saying, I think the same thing. And then you also have people who are consolidating or finalizing their Chaos Legion Soulbound rewards. And so I think the leaderboard might look different today. Let's try and see if there's anything interesting in the leaderboard of, let's go modern. Because modern, I think it's going to be felt in a bigger way. And let's go top battles. Top battles. What's happening here? Prunda. I do not have Prunda. Man, see, this is the thing. When you get into, you were saying the cost to play. Oscu, it's like gone through the roof. If you were to play like this guy's deck, if I click on him, what's your power? What? Oh, I see. He's got 66 points. He has just as much power as me, but he has a rebellion set in there, like a full rebellion set, which is like I bet a full rebellion set's several $1,000s. I don't know, but I know a Chaos Legion set's $500, $600. Yeah, let's see. Let's go top battles. Champ. I want to scroll down. There's Cryptic there with a loss though. Cryptic versus Cryptic. Let me see what's going on here. the creme de la creme of Splinterlands, playing Kozrak versus TH13, and we have Cryptic versus Cryptic. I want to see how the tactics are applied. Pause. Okay. So they both applied poison on their Genoshanis. Man, can you imagine having poison on your Genoshanis, like just regularly? Oh, Mimic. I want to talk with you about Mimic too, Oscar. That's an interesting ability, but let's focus on this battle. What I know that this guy's the bottom opponent is winning, and it's like relatively a mirror match, but look, he's got the one soulbound shock trooper over here, and this is a very low level. It's only level 1, but even at that level, it with the 4 mana cost, it drops a 4 bomb, and I think that's why he ends up winning. Let's watch. Which is if so, that's an indication of what I said, which is like these soulbound cards impact the meta in a big way immediately. This is a level 1 epic that's slipping in at the highest level of the game. 4,600 rank match in modern. And it's just going back there and kicking butt, dropping bombs that are landing. The poison is working hard too on that scatter shot. That's a great little poison place. Oscar, you're a person who told me about this card early on. Like you were talking about Argarux Magus, and you were saying that you thought it was worth leveling up. Is that a card you still have? Do you rent it? Do you let the bot use it? What?
I let the bot use it, but because it's not renting for much. But I think it's an amazing card. I mean, you see how it's played here with the poisons.
Yeah.
And I mean, scatter shot and the what's that? Kind of the Gladius ability. Forgot how it's called.
Bloodlust.
Yeah, Bloodlust.
How is this guy winning? Right now, it looks like this guy's gonna win the top, but the bottom, I'm pretty sure, was the winner. Because his Soothsayer is going down, and then he's got his own Soothsayer, which will stay up and heal through. That's why. But until the very end, that level 1 epic stayed alive and allowed this person to win. And so level 1 impacting the highest levels of this game, 29 SPS attributed for that victory, 1,600 glint attributed for that victory. To come back full circle to the meaningfulness of the soulbound reward cards, even when they're soulbound and they're not unlockable, they're not transferable, this is a financial reward. It was pivotal in that victory. Now, it wasn't the only reason that he won. Clearly, he had to have a full deck of other cards. But these matter, man. They matter, and they help us win, and that's a financial reward that comes from a non-financial asset. Top battles. I want to get let's look at one more battle or 2 more battles if there's anything cool, and then we'll see if there's any last minute conversation pieces, and we'll wrap up in about 10 minutes if that's okay with you, Oscar.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hey Yuki. Let's check it out. He loses. Kozrak just rolling the cryptic like over and over and over again. Is there any soulbounds in there? No, I want to look at ones where I see soulbounds. That's a soulbound. That's a soulbound. Oh, the Venka.
But you see how dominant he is?
Yeah.
How often he's played?
Yeah, it's such an amazing card. I don't have it. I think I have level 2 Venka. It's not good enough. I want that leveled up. I've also been looking at maxing my inevitable. Let's look at this. Look at this. I don't know. This feels like, look how similar these teams are. The last match we showed too. It makes me wonder about bots, but it's probably just, I guess, like this. They know the meta so well. They're at the highest level.
Well, I don't know if you know, but kind of the top leaderboards guys is just one scholar.
No, I didn't
It's
know
the
that.
same guy playing multiple accounts. Those guys, the names that you know, they haven't played the game in years.
That's tricky, hey? That's a messy conversation. Like when you get into, well, what do you do? Well, I remember in the old days when I would run into my own, I would play two accounts at once. And occasionally I would run into myself and I'd fight myself. And I would do like, I'm going to give myself the win on the account that needs it more. Um, and
I think he doesn't do this because he does it for different people. So he plays the one after the other.
yeah, yeah,
But the problem is, and I've heard this multiple times in the tavern, is that when he's playing, like the 3, 4, 5, 6 hours he's playing, no one else who wants to gain some leaderboard points is going to play.
the other side too is in the modern day, you wouldn't necessarily know. Well, you probably would. It's more difficult to know who your opponent is, but in the old days, it would just say 1258 is facing off against Infidel 1258, and I would go, oh, like you know what I mean. This feels like it's a pretty one. Like this is your thing, man. Is just like it's too important, and the triage with the inevitable makes a lot of sense. I don't have the triage. I have my inevitable at like level 1 or 2, and so I think it has shield and repair or something. But the triage is so key. He's got
Absolutely.
yeah.
I have him on level 3. I just bought a couple of Gladius cases and got 2 Quoras, 1 Fina. Fina is now level 3. Amazing.
Yeah. Look at this though. The winning team, soulbound, and putting them to work. And Izzyar too. Half the team soulbound. 28 SPS. Oh, thanks, man. Hey, no, that's from before. Splinterlands is getting confused. Okay, let's just check in with the chat and maybe spend 10 minutes just laughing or chatting, and we'll see. But Mimic, did you hear about the new abilities? Oscu?
Yeah.
Mimic, hey?
Fun.
What do you think of that?
Amazing. I think it's an amazing ability. Thing is, it's a bit too random.
Yeah.
But fun. I mean,
yeah.
To make the game fun again, those things are fun.
Yeah. I think it's interesting though because you could build an account or you could position this card. Well, first of all, I don't you need to have it leveled up to level 2 at least. But you could place a 4 hit point monster with a little bit of magic. Assume that you have it leveled up to your level. I'm in champion, and if it was max level for me, it would be doing 2 melee. No, that's not enough damage. I would only be playing this card for the Mimic. And so, I think Mimic's really powerful, though. I think if you can bury it in the right way, it could just snowball. So I don't have it yet, at least not on a meaningful level. I have a level 2. But man, I do think it looks pretty cool. I'm pretty excited for that one.
It does.
Aaron B. Let's see. Actually, gathering. The game desperately needs a PvE mode so new players won't fight bots and quit. A lore-based Splinterlands team design PvE mode would change everything. Yeah. And then Aaron said another format could be called Modern Soulbound. No SPS involved. League card caps brought back, meant for new players. Only Soulbound rewards are earned with an achievement system gated by account age. Maybe. I think one of the angles will just be if they eventually get to a place where we start letting people play the game without the cards, giving them ghost card experiences, and they can just enjoy the game if they like the game. I think that's a really important eventual next step. I don't know when that happens, but I think Matt has talked about how, yeah, like that'd be cool, but there's a big cost to that. Like there's servers and there's extra data and there's processing and there's, and right now we're not getting players coming and signing up and then playing. We're getting people who come and sign up and find themselves frustrated with all of the different screens they have to engage, and then they leave. And so that, I think that's the bigger immediate issue, figuring out the actual onlining of people. I heard somebody tell me the other day there's 48 screens when you're a brand new person till the first battle you face. 48 screens you got to click through. That's crazy.
That's a lot, yeah. But I don't think that's the real problem. For me, the underlying problem is the investment to earnings ratio.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing for me.
Okay. Fat Jimmy, right on Askew, agreed. I also think there needs to be a balance, affordable level of entry points and also top level expensive levels, but the low level entry point is vital. Yeah. I just point back to Gathering though, and I say bro's been having fun with his account for $10. He bought his spell book for $10. Hasn't put anything else into it, and he's just enjoying it and covering it and loving it. He says keep on forging. He just enjoys the process. Gathering wanted to know if I'm going to buy a title with 1 million glint that I have left and then try and sell it for a little bit of SPS. I decided that it just isn't going to move the needle with respect to how much SPS I have. It would give me, like a little bump. But if I can't buy 50,000 SPS at one lump, yesterday I bought 15,000 SPS, but that even felt, I almost didn't do it because I was just like, doesn't feel like a lot, but I did. I bought 15,000 SPS yesterday, and to 300,000 DC or something like that, which I immediately spent. Okay. You know what, guys? I think we better wrap there because it's getting late over here and it's early with you, Oscu, but you've been gracious. You logged on super early to come hang out today. Thank you so much, man.
It's 7:30 now.
Yeah.
My kids are waking up bit by bit, kind of one by one.
Dude, thank you. And on the heels of your amazing global journey, and just it's really great to catch up with you a little bit and shoot the breeze. And thank you for hooking me up with the Thane new song.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure. No. Continue covering. I'm watching every day. Although we don't always agree on certain things, I leave my comments. Hope they help others reflect and kind of also find that they're not alone in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Even when there is conflict or disagreement, it's like that's going to be a place of interest for a lot of people. And sometimes it's going to help. Different angles on the same topic are going to allow people to get to their own place, whatever that's going to end up being. It doesn't have to be A or B. It might be C, but hearing A and then hearing B helps them recognize what they think. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Anything you want to drop before we go, or anything you want to say or before we go?
No, I'm good. I really appreciate the community. Shout out to the people that exchanged their Soulbone reward cards with me. A couple in the guild. Silence was also so nice to provide me with two rare Goldfire cards to complete this card.
Nice.
And we have an amazing community. Just shout out in the different Discords.
Absolutely.
And people respond.
Absolutely. And Woody hooked me up and sent me that card. Thank you, pal. Sincerely, that's huge. And you're right. The community is amazing. I said in a video a while back, and maybe this will be the last thing I'll say. The one thing that I think is the place that sets this thing apart and maybe gives it like that, it's like a diamond in the rough, is the community, because our attention for one another, our joy in communicating with one another, our ability to guerrilla advertise, and like we did with the Soulbounds, when the team gave us that and let us leak that. There is such power in this community, but it's also this double-edged sword, because sometimes the saltiness, not with the men and women that are here tonight, but sometimes the saltiness can get to we saw it in the MAV, which they sank, and they now like rethought how they do the Discord. And sometimes you see it in the comment section. I hope that at least on my channel, when those comments come, we can engage them well and wisely. And like I said, even when we disagree, we can help educate. But at the same time, it's like this, like I say, the community is this diamond in the rough. It's a beautiful thing. It's a powerful thing. It's going to be part of why we succeed, if we succeed. But it's also this like pain point at times, and we're just gonna have to fight through that, because it's not that side's not going to go away until and unless some of these prices are ticking up. Like, people are in over their heads on money. Like, some people bought big and they're under. And so if SPS goes up, I think a lot of that's going to disappear, and we're going to have like a real honeymoon season again. And I hope that's sooner than later. We'll see though. And Oski, thank you so much, man. Louis and Akisa, I appreciate you so much. And everybody, thank you for your time and attention. Have an amazing day. God bless.